This week, I'm going to narrate some really interesting mythological and folk tales from all parts of the world. So, one by one, I'll pick different stories and narrate it to you here. The book that I've got with me for this is written by Henry I. Christ, and it's called Myths and Folklore. And without making you wait anymore, I'm going to narrate today's folk story, which comes from Africa, and it's called Talk, an Ashanti Tale. So let's start. Once, not far from the city of Accra, on the Gulf of Guinea, a countryman went out to his garden to dig up some yams to take to market. And while he was digging, one of the yams said to him, "Well, at last you are here. You never weeded me, but now you come around with your digging stick. Go away and leave me alone." The farmer turned around and looked at his cow in amazement. The cow was chewing her cud and looking at him. "Did you say something?" he said. The cow kept on chewing and said nothing. But the man's dog spoke up. "It wasn't the cow who spoke to you," the dog said. "It was the yam. The yam says, 'Leave him alone.'" The man became angry because his dog had never talked before, and he didn't like his tone besides. So he took his knife and cut a branch from the palm tree to whip his dog. Just then the palm tree said, "Put that branch down." Now the man became angry because his dog had never talked before, and even the palm branch was misbehaving. So he started to throw the palm branch away, but the palm branch said, "Man, put me down softly." He put the branch down gently on a stone, and the stone said, "Hey, take that thing off me." This was enough, and the frightened farmer started to run for his village. On the way, he met a fisherman going the other way with a fish trap on his head. "What's the hurry?" the fisherman asked. "Well, my yam said, 'Leave me alone.' Then the dog said, 'Listen to what the yam says.' When I went to whip the dog with a palm branch, the tree said, 'Put that branch down.' Then the palm branch said, 'Do it softly.' And then the stone said, 'Take that thing off me.' Is that all?" The man with the fish trap said. "Is that so frightening?" "Well," this time the man's fish trap said. "Did he take off the stone?" "Whoa!" the fisherman shouted. He threw the fish trap on the ground and began to run with the farmer. And on the trail they met a weaver with a bundle of cloth on his head. "Where are you going in such a rush?" he asked him. "My yam said, 'Leave me alone,'" the farmer said. The dog said, "Listen to what the yam says." The tree said, "Put that branch down." Then the branch said, "Do it softly," and the stone said, "Take that thing off me." And then the fisherman continued, "The fish trap said, 'Did he take it off?'" "That's nothing to get excited about," the weaver said. "No reason at all." "Oh yes, it is," his bundle of clothes said. "If it happened to you, you would run too." "Whoa!" the weaver shouted. He threw his bundle on the trail and started running with the other men. They came panting to the ford in the river and found a man bathing. "Are you chasing a gazelle?" he asked him. The first man said breathlessly, "My yam talked at me and it said, 'Leave me alone,' And my dog said, "Listen to your yam." And when I cut myself a branch, the tree said, "Put that branch down." And the branch said, "Do it softly." And the stone said, "Take that thing off me." The fisherman panted, and my trap said, "Did he?" The weaver wheezed, and my bundle of clothes said, "You'd run too." "Is that why you are running?" the man in the river asked. "Well, wouldn't you run if you were in their position?" the river said. The man jumped out of the water and began to run with the others. They ran down the main street of the village to the house of the chief. The chief's servant brought his stool out, and he came and sat on it to listen to their complaints. The men began to recite their troubles. The farmer said, "I went out to my garden to dig yams." Then everything began to talk. My yam said, "Leave me alone." My dog said, "Pay attention to your yam." The tree said, "Put that branch down." The branch said, "Do it softly." And the stone said, "Take it off me." The fisherman said, and my fish trap said, "Well, did he take it off?" Then the weaver said, and my clothes said, "You'd run too." And the river said the same. The bather said, his eyes bulging. The chief listened to them patiently, but he couldn't refrain from scowling. "Now, this is really a wild story," he said at last. "You'd better all go back to your work before I punish you for disturbing the peace." So the men went away, and the chief shook his head and mumbled to himself. Nonsense like that upsets the community. "Fantastic, isn't it?" his stool said. "Imagine a talking yam."